Today I'll be presenting about blockchain. It's develop, deploy, and manage data with Azure blockchain. Basically, a little bit about myself. I am Mohammad Asif Fakar. I'm a solution architect at ABN AMRO Bank and currently working in Singapore. Many thanks to his sponsor for arranging this session. It was a really nice session. Okay, and so today's agenda will be this, like we'll discuss about what is a blockchain and why exactly we need a blockchain. Okay, and then what are the challenges with the blockchain and little bit about Azure blockchain services and how we can create a blockchain prototype, and then we'll see how we can integrate with the existing app. So in today's world, we have seen the traditional systems and now the blockchain. So blockchain is basically a distributed app for performing all the transactions. So if you ask me in a single sentence, so I will say blockchain is a decentralized database with strong consistency support. So what it happens is basically all the nodes are nothing but organizations. So they maintain a local copy of the data and ensure the consistency will be same on when you are performing the transactions. So suppose if you have means couple of means organizations which is involved in any kind of transactions, like in terms of any financial transactions or any means some like asset transfer or any kind of transaction. So in that whatever the transactions are being performed with the multiple parties, so they will ensure that data will be consistent. So the question comes, what is the difference between then blockchain and distributed app? Because some distributed app, like if you talk about the Cosmos DB or some other database, so they are providing such kind of services. So what it makes difference if you talk about the blockchain and those apps? So in because it's there is a couple of means like in terms of security, in terms of it is almost same, but in terms of security and all, it's more efficient if you talk about the blockchain part. Okay, so let me explain why exactly we need a blockchain. Okay, in traditional systems, if you talk about traditional systems, so we are familiar that all the traditional systems having a centralized system which is monitoring all your transactions, all your data and everything. And if you have your own organizations and other organizations, they have their own systems to maintain their reports, their applications, everything. So they have a set of data in their own systems, and other organizations is also maintaining a set of the data. Okay, so it is like something like point to point means if they want to perform any kind of transitions with other application or with other organizations, so they have a point to point communication, and which is a quite a troublesome part, because sometimes what it happens is if any means like if you want to, if the two organizations are there and they have hired some third party for performing their some audit process or something, so they have some duplicate amount of, because there are multiple auditors involved in that and they have a same set of data, so it might be redundant data. And then so in this kind of scenario, and also they are charging a huge amount of fees, and there are also a lot of other things which makes it a traditional system big problematic. So they are inefficient in terms of they are expensive, because there are a lot of other third parties involved in that, and they are vulnerable also, because all the parties, if you see about importer, exporter, auditor, just take about supply chains. In supply chain, if we have an importer, exporter, auditor, and exporter banks, freight forwarders, or so everyone is maintaining their own set of data and their own set of applications. So so some applications or some data might not be very secure, so they might be vulnerable. So in that scenario, means all the means parties might be means the data might be compromised, and there will be like trust gap between all the parties. So if there is importer, exporter, and how the data is is data is legitimate data, or is data is correct data. So you have 10 copies of same report and you want to validate all the reports. So in this scenario, it's become very complex. So how we can solve such kind of problems? So in this type of things, now the blockchain comes into picture. So blockchain is nothing but just a decentralized ledger where all the parties shared a copy of the data and ledger, and they can see real-time data. So if you see this structure in that, so these are importer, exporter, or freight forwarders, ledger, means auditors. They are all on the same platform, and they are performing the transition with each other, and they can maintain, means they can see whatever is being happened. Like suppose if any transaction is performed on the blockchain ledger, so it will be notified to all the users. And the good thing is all your transactions will be linked with your previous transaction hash. So because whenever you are performing the transactions, so your transactions will be secured with hash 256 hash, and then it will be linked to your previous transactions. So you can see, means from where it is started, you can see all the audit history, means from where your transaction was started, and how it is being transferred from one party to another party, and what is the actual status now. So suppose you are sending money from Dhaka to Singapore or US. So in that, how many parties are there? Like you have transferred from, suppose, DBS Bank or some other bank. So one bank to another bank, if the money is being transferred by some Swift payment or some other parties, third party. So in that scenario, if money is taken from A to B and B to C and C to D, means so many parties. So you will see in all the in blockchain transactions how it is transferred from A to B and what time they have received. So everyone will receive a notification. Means the payment was initiated from A to B and then it is transferred from B to C, and whoever is involved, who have done the transactions, so you can see all this all. So in later in demo I will show how exactly this happens. So how it benefits, it provides you a real-time view review. It's there is no intermediary parties are involved to assume the risk, because suppose in current scenario, like importer to exporter or importer to bank, there are a couple of intermediary parties involved which verify your means transactions. Like suppose there is a audit process or there is a KYC process for the banks. So in initial, if banks want to sign up for any customers, so they do the KYC check. So for the KYC check, there are so many third parties involved. If all comes on the blockchain platform, so those third parties will be removed in future, because initially the customer will be registered on the blockchain network, and after that, whoever party, like there are multiple banks, like 10 banks or 20 banks are there, so they will have the customer digital identity, so they will know that what he have done in previous, and however he have done the transactions or whatever, so they can see the history of the customer. And decentralized contract execution, so all the parties will have their own set of smart contracts. Smart contracts are nothing but uh, set of rules which is executed digitally in terms of code. So what will happen is importer exporter, they will have their own nodes and they will deploy the blockchain code in terms of smart contracts to the node. So node will be, so smart contracts will be like your terms and conditions between the parties. Suppose if you have an importer to exporter, and you want to, when he will send the money, then I will disperse this amount, or whatever the terms and conditions you want, you can specify in the smart contract. And proof of ownership. So you will know that this asset belongs to whom and from where it was started. And automate settlement and reduction transaction fee. So these all process means, because all the terms and condition you will specify in the smart contract, and that will be like automated process. So if step one and two is done, then step three will be proceed for this. So it will be like that. In today's world, there are three types of blockchain. So currently we have public blockchain, private blockchain, and consortium. Public blockchain was Bitcoin. I think everyone heard about Bitcoin. Uh, Public blockchain is basically in that everyone can participate. So Bitcoin, and currently there is also Ethereum. So Ethereum is also one of the public blockchain network. And private blockchain is something like you want to build a blockchain platform for your company, uh, for some document verification process or asset management process, or some your for own purpose. In your closed in that scenario, private blockchain network is suitable. But when we talk about the consortium, consortium is like a multi-party system where all the parties means all different organizations will come, and they will form a consortium to do some kind of transactions or asset transfer, or any kind of like supply chain. So that is a consortium. So in public blockchain, there are like examples like royalty points. In Singapore government, they have made basically for attestation of your all degrees, like I belongs to NUS, so they have a blockchain application for verifying your degree. So whenever we will graduate, so we'll get blockchain certificate. So it's a they will provide a digital certificate which can be verified from one platform, that's open source, which is a blockchain platform, and from anywhere, so no one can make any kind of fraudulent transaction that make a fake degree. So they will be like that. Yes. And private blockchain is basically, yeah, like for your asset transfer or your document verification process, you want to build a product for your own company. So that's a private blockchain. In today's world, there are a couple of blockchain frameworks available, uh, like Ethereum, Hyperledger Fabric, and Coda. These are the three more widely used as of now. Yeah, but there are all more of them. Like they are. But Ethereum is a very popular framework, which is open blockchain platform framework. Hyperledger Fabric and Coda is private blockchain, suitable for private blockchain network. But they are also providing like Hyperledger Fabric. Recently, they have also made a Hyperledger Besu, which is a client of Ethereum. So that is also for open blockchain platform. So in that, if you talk about the, but uh, but whenever we think about blockchain, actually the things comes in cryptocurrency. But when you talk about open blockchain network, yeah, there is a cryptocurrency. But when we talk about the private blockchain or consortium network, so there is no cryptocurrency concept. So if you can see here in Ethereum, we have Ether as a cryptocurrency, but for Hyperledger Fabric and Coda, there is no cryptocurrency, because uh, it is all the transactions, whatever they are performing in a closed is the known person. So the mechanism which is called is a proof of identity, means you know the people. So that is called consensus mechanism, which is used for that. Why there was a part of cryptocurrency what added for the open blockchain network, because the idea was initially anyone can join the network and they can perform the transaction. So how they can perform the transaction, who will maintain the network? So to maintain the network, they have introduced the concept of cryptocurrency. So whoever is in the network, they can perform the transaction by paying the fee, gas fees on the network by paying with the cryptocurrency. So they suppose you are performing one transaction, so there will be a gas amount which will be charged in terms of Ether or in terms of Bitcoin. So that was the concept for open blockchain. But when we talk about the private or consortium blockchain network, it's a completely different, because you are someone, there is a admin which is maintaining the whole network. So you don't need to pay any kind of fee actually. Yeah. So if you are new to blockchain, these are the basics which you need to know about the blockchain, like what are the means currency, and means if there is no currency used, either you're going for open blockchain network or private blockchain network, you need to decide at the initial stage. And for writing the smart contracts, like your application logic, what are the languages you need to use? For Ethereum there is Solidity, and for Hyperledger there is chain code. And yeah, so the question comes, I want to start a blockchain. Actually, this is a very common question asked. I want to build a blockchain app. So from where I need to start, and what are things I need to consider? Actually, it's a very basic but yeah question, because when we think about the end-to-end blockchain application, we need to consider a lot of things. Like we need to consider about your how you'll write your blockchain logic, business logic, how you'll configure your network, how you'll build your client app, or how you'll integrate your existing app. Suppose you have any existing app of like a .NET app or Java app, or your Office 365 app, or your SAP applications, or any other applications if you have. Okay, and you want to integrate with your blockchain application. So what are the things? What are the possibilities you can do that, and how you want to deploy your. So suppose if you have your own identity which is on your Active Directory available, and you want to connect those identity to your blockchain network. So what are the process in current scenario? How it is happens is, for Ethereum there is a middleware available which is helps to connect to the blockchain network. That's called Web3.js and Ether.js. There are some client libraries available which helps to connect. And same as this for Hyperledger, there is their own means Fabric network available, and so it helps to connect to the blockchain network with the client app. Okay, but what Microsoft is doing, actually they are providing, they're doing really good job. Means like, if you think, I mean, like means like about if on I want to create, so I'm very confused that where to start actually, is because there are so many things we need to consider, like your infrastructure or your application logic, everything. So what Microsoft is doing, Microsoft is providing a couple of services which helps to build a whole ecosystem, like from building your application logic, you want to build a simple prototype, and until you're configuring your network. Suppose you want to build a whole complete blockchain network, provision a blockchain network. You want to see the data. You want to see the data in terms of report, in terms of Power BI report, in terms of SQL Server report, a SQL Server or Cosmos DB you want to see. And so there are a couple of services which Microsoft is providing. That's called Azure Blockchain Services. If you can see here, there are Azure Blockchain Service, which is still in preview mode. Preview mode is like for development and testing. Yeah, but there are also a few customers moved to production as well. And there is also blockchain workbench. And apart from that, there are some templates, like which is already predefined templates available uh, on so you can provision your network. Like for Ethereum there is some template available. For Hyperledger Fabric Kubernetes service, there is a template available. For Quorum is enterprise version on of Ethereum client. So in 2015, all few organizations came, and they enhanced Ethereum to enterprise version of Ethereum that's called Quorum. So that was, and JP Morgan was one of the initiative organization. Yeah, so they are maintaining the Quorum as of now, and there are a couple of others, but these are the two main services, which is like Azure Blockchain as a Service and Azure Blockchain Workbench. But apart from that, there are few other services, like for managing your data. There is a Azure Data Manager service, and let me show. So there is a Blockchain Data Manager service, and for maintaining your tokens. Suppose if you are making application which is publicly available, and you want to make it for a public blockchain, so and you want to use a concept of cryptocurrency for and then you have a requirement for like you for tokens are actually two types of tokens currently available, like fungible and non-fungible. Fungible are like which you can evaluate the value, and non-fungible are like your asset. So you want to tokenize your asset because it might be a requirement that you want to sell the asset. And like a use case, if you talk about you want to sell a property, okay, and in selling a property you need to register with authority of means like land development authority. You want to go for court, you want to register there, all those parties are there, and they, if they are on same blockchain platform, so how the assets will be registered on the blockchain network and how it will be transferred from one to other, and who will do the payments. So there are so many things there, like the value of the assets. So asset is being transferred from one party to another party, and then it is being converted in terms of cost. So in that scenario, these services will be helpful. And the fourth service is Azure Blockchain Development Kit, which is really a good thing because Azure Blockchain Development Kit provide you a capability to develop an application. You don't need to download so many tools. You don't need to be confused. You just download Azure Blockchain Development Kit and you can start a development from there. Yeah, in a demo, I will show how we'll create a prototype using Azure Blockchain Development Kit and how we'll deploy onto the Azure Blockchain Network and how we can see the data which is being means which is being performed on the blockchain network on some off-chain storage like SQL Server or Cosmos DB. So yeah, let's see how we can create a blockchain prototype. And as I told earlier, like Blockchain Development Kit is one of the plugin provided in VS Code. This is a blockchain development kit for Ethereum for developing your smart contracts. And this is a blockchain Azure Workbench. So here you can see I have already deployed two smart contracts, one for asset transfer and one for calculating your frequent flyer points. So like that, you can deploy as many blockchain prototype on this. So you don't need to create a UI, means you don't need to worry about your web client. You can just write your business logic and can deploy on blockchain network to test how exactly your end-to-end functionality will work, how you can integrate with your existing app. Yeah, in demo we will go through all this. So this is the overall picture of Azure blockchain. If you can see here, I have is everybody able to listen to me? Is there any thing this you can ping? Yeah. If there is any question, you can just ping on the chat box. Yeah. Okay, so we can see here what Microsoft is providing is they are providing identity and key management. When you provision a blockchain network with the Azure Workbench, so what you will get is you will get identity and key management and data platform services like a SQL Server will be provisioned, and there will be like monitoring service will be there, and some third parties like Logic Apps will be there. So what it will help is it will help to connect your client apps, like if you have any .NET app or Java app or any other mobile app and you want to perform the transaction with all these apps, or if you have any Salesforce or SAP application or LinkedIn application or Office 365 apps, and you want to perform like SharePoint app, you want to make a form and you want to fill the form and perform the transactions on the blockchain network. So that is possible with the Azure Workbench. So you can just consume the APIs and all the transactions when you perform. So it will be performed on the blockchain network, and it will help to provide capabilities you can configure with any of the blockchain framework. Actually, that is one of the biggest problem they are trying to solve, because in current scenario, what is happening is everyone is trying to create a blockchain app in maybe some people are making in Hyperledger, some people are making in Corda, some people are making in their Quorum based on their requirement. But the problem is interoperability, means they are not able to talk to each other. They are not able to transfer the assets from one blockchain network to another blockchain network. And in this type of issue, to overcome this type of issues, what they're trying to provide, they're trying to provide a solution which can helps to integrate any kind of ledger with your existing app. And that is the one of the integration is the one of the biggest problem they are trying to solve. So these are the challenges which Azure Workbench is trying to solve. Like suppose you want to create a simple prototype, you don't need to, because in current scenario, if you go either for Ethereum, either for Hyperledger or Corda, the infrastructure management is a very big headache, and you have to manage a lot of services, and you need to have expertise in that. So this is a really troublesome part. So with Azure Workbench or Azure Blockchain as a Service, you can just provision a complete whole network within few clicks. So they're trying, and for creating just a simple POC to test your business logic, you don't need to spend a lot of time. You can just do in 1 or 2 days. Yeah. So they're trying to connect with your existing infrastructure, because with the current blockchain setup, although they are trying to expose the APIs and others, but still connectivity with your existing app is a big challenge. Yeah. And in current scenario, you don't need to worry about the UI, because whenever we start application, first thing we think about, okay, we need to create the UI, then we need to write the business logic. So with Azure Workbench, you don't need to write any UI, because you just need to write your business logic and deploy on Azure Workbench. And it is very secure in terms of because all the data and is secured on Azure, and there is it is linked with your Active Directory or identity. So yeah, it is quite secure in terms of that. And you don't need to develop an API for your whole blockchain consortium network. Means like you don't need to manage all those things, because when you provision Azure Workbench, the APIs will become additional as a part. So API management will be also provisioned with the Azure Workbench. And currently what is happening, suppose you have a existing blockchain platform which is and you want to talk to, like you are writing some Node.js app or React app, and you want to talk to blockchain network, so you need some intermediary parties, like as I gave example like Web3.js or Ether.js. But for this you don't need any mediator, you just can directly deploy your app on the Azure Workbench. Yeah, and the off-chain storage. That is a very good part of Azure Workbench and Azure Blockchain as a Service, because you can store your data in your SQL Server database and Cosmos DB, and it will be and power. You can display the reports in Power BI. It's really helpful in terms of off-chain storage. Yeah. So this is a setup process of Azure Workbench. First of all, you need to set up a Ethereum network, and then you need to register a AD tenant. Why we need AD tenant? Because in blockchain network, because it's a kind of a private blockchain network, or you can say consortium. So in that, you know the party. So whoever is performing the transaction on the blockchain network, even though there are some external parties, but you will allow external parties on your AD network. So you need to register AD tenant, and then you have to deploy your Azure Workbench or applications. So in high level, you can see the architecture looks like something like this. You have any client apps, and previously there used to be a blockchain network, which is replaced by Azure Workbench. And what it will help to expose the API, public APIs and private APIs, and client apps will consume those APIs, and they will perform the transactions on the Azure Workbench. And Azure Workbench will maintain your smart contracts, your application services, and SQL Server. Let me show you in 1 minute. Yeah, so this is something like when you deploy your Azure Workbench, you will get Swagger APIs. Yeah, let me show you first the demo side, how exactly it looks. If anyone have any questions until here.
I think our guest will ask their question after your session.
Sure. Okay, sure. Thanks. So this is means Microsoft Azure. So what we can do is we need to go for the blockchain. If you want to create a simple prototype and you have no idea how it was, how to start, so you just go and create a Azure Workbench, because Azure Workbench is very helpful for means creating your prototype and integrating with the existing app. Okay. In this scenario, means I need to provide my resource details. So means you can create some resource group, and you need to provide which region you are going to provision, and resource prefix. Suppose you want to give some like demo, and your VM username, authentication type, you want to authenticate with your password or SSH key. This is interesting part, like a blockchain database and blockchain password. What it means is database and blockchain password, it will be helpful because whenever we are going to create a workbench, it will provision some resources. In that there will be SQL Server also. So this password is for your SQL Server. And so if whatever the password you are entering here, if you want to see the transaction data, you need to give the same password. And there will be a deployment region where exactly you are going to deploy. Then there will be advanced settings. Advanced settings is like create new and use existing in the network. What it means is if you are going to create a consortium by yourself, so you will be the admin for the whole network. So that is, then you have to choose for the create new. But if you are going for use existing, so this is used, suppose if you have any existing Ethereum uh, blockchain which is already in your hosted somewhere in your company or somewhere, and you want to join that consortium, like because there are already some group of companies and they have their blockchain available, and you want to join that group, so that is also possible. You can provide the RPC endpoints, Ethereum RPC endpoints, and you can join the group. Let me show you what will be the Ethereum RPC endpoints. So yeah, this is basically your access keys, or you can say this will be your Ethereum RPC endpoint. So whenever you will provide, so miss, it will be same for if you have any existing blockchain available, because I have already deployed one Azure Blockchain as a service. So that's why I can join that network also by providing the Ethereum RPC endpoints. And then I told earlier in my slides, we need, this is the first step of configuring your Ethereum network. So whenever you will do the review and create, it will configure your blockchain Azure Workbench. It will take almost 30 to 45 minutes to configure because it creates a lot of resources. So, and there is also available for means what the tiers you want to use. There are a couple of tiers. I am using for dev and test. I think you can use one CPU, and it's costs around 104 something. Yeah, no, 48 something dollars per month. It's quite cheap. And but this is for your single ledger node. Means like suppose you are one tenant, means, and you want to use Azure Workbench. So this is for the single ledger. But if you are going to add more people, obviously you need to scale up this network. So in going forward, I will show how exactly we can scale up this network. So this will provision a single ledger node, and you need to, sorry, you need to, then later on in second step, you need to configure your Active Directory. Yeah, I have already provisioned blockchain workbench. So let me show you what are the resources after provisioning it looks like. So you can see here, I have, this is my app service, which is my Azure Workbench. And there's also a provision of APIs, which is for Azure Workbench API. Let me show how exactly it looks. So when you deploy the Azure Workbench, you can see here, you don't need to write your any means web UI or something. So this is already predefined available, and I can deploy any blockchain app by providing their configuration file and smart contracts. I will show how exactly happens. And these are the members which is available in my Active Directory. So this, after configuring your Active Directory in the second step, so you can add the members in your Active Directory. Those members will be appearing here. And after configuring your Active Directory, only your deployment for the Azure Workbench will be completed. And then you can deploy your apps. So let me show quickly how exactly it looks like. The like I have asset transfer. So currently I have performed a couple of transactions here. So this is like a consortium I have created. In that I have added a few members, which is like a demo 1, demo 2, demo 3. These are the different parties, which is different organizations, and they are also part of my consortium. They are performing the transactions, like they will log in into their app. Suppose this is demo 1. I want to show. Let me log in for demo 1. So this is my demo 1 account. So this is the other user, means other organizations which will be seeing this UI. And let me perform. Suppose I want to sell some means bikes, and the cost is $2,000. So the transaction is being performed on this blockchain. Why it is taking time? Because it is checking the previous transaction history. Means your so you can see here the contract, who have created the contract, how it was initiated, what was the contract address, and who is the owner for this. You can see now. If I refresh here, let me show you how exactly. So this is the first, I am the seller. Now the demo 1 is a buyer. So let me log in with the demo 1. Yeah, so you can see here the transaction was initiated by me and for bikes, and the asking price was $2,000. So now I want to offer a price of suppose 1,800. I want to make an offer, and I want to choose inspector, means like who will verify my transaction, demo 3, and appraiser who will approve my transactions, and there will be like 1,800. So miss I offered the price of 1,800. So if you can see here, so the transaction is being performed. So this is a case like in our current scenario, like in our organizations, what it was is we made a blockchain application for one simple LC credit process, letter of credit for the supply chain. And in that there was parties like I have a party like I'm the owner, and there is a buyer, and there is a seller, and there is an appraiser. So in that scenario, we used to have two nodes. One was for the bank, and one was for the customer. So what it was is like customers was your importer and exporter, and they used to fill the form uh, like that. They used to fill all the details for the forms, initiate the transactions, and they used to choose the means banks whom they have to approve. So like in the demo 1, I can take action and can choose the parties. So we used to choose the banks who will verify the transactions and who will be the verifying node, and whatever the parties are there, so we can choose. And then the process used to be initiated. So, so in that scenario also, if you can see in asset transfer, we have a seller, we have a buyer, and there are inspector and appraiser. So what it would in active state, what happens is the transaction is being initiated, an offer is being placed by the means by the seller, and then buyer will make a offer price and he will perform the means he will perform the transaction. Then he will choose the inspector and appraiser. They will verify that means they will provide the approval process. So this whole process is suppose my app is when I initiated the transactions for creating the app. So all the parties will know that transaction was initiated. So all the parties, if you can see here, like Honor or Demo 1 or Demo 2 or Demo 3, all are on the same blockchain network. So they will be notified that transaction is being initiated, and they can see in the real time the history, who have performed the transactions and how it is done. The good thing is all the transactions is being linked to the previous transactions, so you can see the history of the transaction like audit trail, and it is all the transactions are being hashed, means with the, so that's why it is more secure. So suppose I want to see these transactions on my SQL Server database. So that's what is the really good thing which what Microsoft is providing is there is a SQL Server also they are initiating. So you can see in the SQL Server, you can just go in the query editor, and you can see all the transaction means contract details, who whatever the contracts are being performed, and who are the users. So you can see all those such details here. And this data you can also means display in your Power BI report or your any kind of reporting purpose you can display. So that's a really good thing. The second resources is for your API. So let me show the API part. API is very helpful if you have your existing app and you want to integrate your existing app. Suppose this is my API endpoints. So I want to see that how many users are there, and so let me show, sorry. So this was my API. Actually, I have already initiated for. Okay, my token is expired. So what I can do, I can just go. So this is the BRR token. Actually, I haven't configured my token in my Postman. So you can configure this. But in when you are going for your means consuming this API with your any client app, your .NET app, or so this BRR token or means like authorization, you need to do from you need to manage from your side. So you need to integrate like it's the same as how we do for the APIs. Let me see if it works. Just give me a second because I think my token is still not valid. Yeah, I think maybe I will skip this part and will. So basically, what we do is we'll communicate with the APIs. If you want to communicate with the APIs, so you have you can get all the details like of your transactions, like I have done for my contracts, and you can see here I have the details of the contracts, and you need to interact with your Active Directory. You need to provide your tokens details, and then it will be you can use the API Swagger APIs. Okay, so and the second thing is they also provide, suppose you want to send an email, means like when your contract is being initiated, or when means any approval is done from one party, and so second party should receive an email. So what it happens is they provides, means Microsoft Azure is also providing logic apps connectors. So if you can see here, let me just create a one simple app. In the logic apps, you can see there are predefined templates. You want to publish this data to a SQL server, or you want to publish the smart contracts by using Event Grid, or means you want to display the data into your Power BI report, or by using microservice. So there are a couple of logic apps already available. So what it will help you means it will provide you a template, predefined templates. So whatever the transactions you are being performed on the blockchain network, so it will capture the event, and then you can see the data on Power BI report. You just need to provide the connections. Yeah, so this was something like if you want to create a blockchain app, a prototype. So you need to just write your business logic in smart contracts, and you can what you can do is let me show that example as well. So suppose this, so this is my two, like one is my configuration file, and second is my smart contracts. So after uploading the configuration file, I need to upload my smart contracts. So if I have already one app available, so it will update my version, like I have 1.1, and if it is the same version, so it will show you this app is already deployed. And if your version is updated, and if you have made any kind of changes, so the versioning is also maintained here. So let me explain what exactly the configuration file exactly looks like. In configuration file, first of all, you need to maintain the metadata, means what it is about. This transition is this is asset transfer app, and so you have to specify your metadata, and what are the roles you are being performed, means like I am in my contract there was appraiser, buyer, and owner, inspector, and how many workflows, like is it for means creating, and means what type of transactions you are doing. So all your states you need to define in workflows, and that will be your JSON file, and then you have to write your smart contract logic, which will be on Ethereum. So, so this is my for creating a simple blockchain app by using Azure Workbench. Let me show you quickly. I think I'm already. So if you can, but you first of all you need to install IBM blockchain. Sorry, Azure
Service.
blockchain template. The Azure blockchain development kit. So there is a Azure blockchain development kit. Blockchain development kit. Yeah. So this is blockchain development kit which I have already installed. So if you have already installed, then it will provide you option for creating your Solidity project, because this is the Ethereum based client. So by default the language will be Solidity. So you can choose a project, and then it will give you an option for creating a new project, or if you want to try from some truffle boxes, just like there are predefined templates or some examples available, so you can choose that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new project. So I need to provide the link for my means, yeah. So you can see here, you don't need to means download so many tools. You just install one extension, and all the projects and everything will be created. And in the left hand side, it will also helps to provide means you can connect to blockchain network and can deploy your app. So what it will let me just disconnect and show you how it connects. So once you click on this, it will ask you Azure blockchain as a service. You need to provide your Azure subscription, and suppose I am using this Azure blockchain. Yeah. So I can connect to this is my Azure blockchain service and consortium and member. I will show how we create Azure blockchain service. So you need to understand this Azure blockchain development kit and Azure blockchain service is different completely. But the thing is, when we provision Azure blockchain workbench, it also initiate one resources Azure blockchain as a service. So why it is from version 1.7, they have provided the integration of Azure blockchain service and Azure workbench. Why? Because there was an issue that the this storage was being failed for Azure workbench. So what Azure blockchain service, what it helps is it helps to scale up your blockchain app. So when you provision Azure blockchain as a service, so you want to scale up your blockchain application, you can add as many transaction node as you want. So suppose I have created a one blockchain prototype app by using Azure Workbench, and later I want to move to production, and I want to add more transaction node. More transaction node is useful for, suppose you want to add more companies on your blockchain platform, so you have to add more transaction node. So in that scenario, so you can use Azure blockchain service and add as many transaction node as you want. So this is very helpful in terms of scaling, and it also helps to provide capabilities of blockchain data manager. So suppose you have any IoT app and you want to integrate with your blockchain network, so Azure data manager helps to provide a capability to capture all the blockchain data, I mean, all the data events, and process through event grid to the blockchain network. So you can, but currently blockchain data manager, because I have configured in Southeast Asia region, so it is only available in East US and West Europe region because it's still in a preview mode. Yeah, so maybe in future it will be available for Southeast Asia as well. So if you can see here in Azure blockchain resources, there is a Azure blockchain service also available. So this Azure blockchain service, helps to scale up your network. So you want to deploy a blockchain app. So what I have done, I have created my blockchain application, and I can you can see here they are providing option for building the contract. You don't need to write your command prompt. If you're not very familiar with the command prompt, you don't need to worry. It will provide you option for building the smart contracts, and it will also help to provide your deploying the smart contracts. So let me show. So you can choose which blockchain service you want to deploy, and I'm deploying first time, so I need to create a mnemonic. This is helpful for retrieving your credentials later. So so my contract is being deployed. Let me show. So you can see here my contract is being deployed, and after deploying the contract I will get the contract address, and this contract address will be very helpful when you want to means integrate this. Suppose if any transaction you want to perform any transaction on this blockchain network, and after that you want to execute some event, so this contract address will be helpful. Let me show you how exactly it will be helpful. And in blockchain they are also providing the services to create a logic apps from here itself. So you can see here generate data publishing workflow for the smart contracts, which is for suppose if you want to perform any transaction on the blockchain, and that action need to execute some transaction by using logic app to the SQL server. So that is you can generate the logic app directly. I need to provide my contract address, because when this contract will be executed, then only it will perform that transaction. So I can choose my demo SQL logic app, and you can see my logic app is already being created and with the database. So I can also do for the microservices, like there are option for a generate microservices. So I can create for the logic app, same logic apps for this smart contract for the microservice as well. So you can see here the service is also generated, and I have in my smart contracts, I have functions for sending request and sending response. So I have done for this address. Let me just quickly create for this. You can see how it is simple. You can just go and create one logic app. And make sure whenever you are deploying your logic app, so your workbench means region and your logic app region should be same. Otherwise it will give you error, because I think they are still not supported. So yeah, so what we need to do, we just need to go, and this is my for the suppose I'm going for this request message. So this all the JSON data I will copy here, and you can see in the connection, my connection is my logic app is being created. I'm getting a request, and then I'm being processed, means I'm going to execute the contracts. So let me provide the new connection. New connection will be, I have deployed this Azure Workbench on consortium demo. Okay. So my sorry. Today I'm getting actually some problem in there was consortium demo workbench. Yeah. So this is my member account. I need to provide this member account while creating the logic app. I'm creating here. This is my member account address. I need to provide this. And after that, because this is my transaction node, as I told earlier, for providing this is my RPC endpoints. I'll close this for being confused. Okay. So I need to provide this RPC endpoints and app connection 3. So you can see here my contract API is being created, and yeah. After saving this, the HTTP my host URL will be generated, and I want to execute this logic app from my consuming from API. So let me just host. So this API will be means whenever any transaction will be performed on the blockchain network, this logic app will be executed, and you can write your own logic. Suppose you want to trigger an email, or you want to push this data to blockchain means SQL Server database, or you want to do any kind of transaction, so you can do with the help of logic app. Let me see. Wait a second time. Yeah, so let me jump until quickly my. Yeah. So you can see here, I have for suppose if you want to create a logic app for your inserting data into database, so the same response I can put into SQL Server database. So this data will be processed into SQL Server database. And this is overall picture for Azure Blockchain as Service. So what Azure Blockchain as Service do is suppose if you have any IoT data or any unstructured data, so with the help of means Logic App or Event Grid, it processes this data into means blockchain service, and blockchain data manager in the blockchain Azure Blockchain as Service, it captures all the data and process into your Power BI report or SQL Server report or MySQL, yeah, or you want to perform any machine learning algorithms, you can do that. So we have seen that how we have created the smart contracts by using Azure Blockchain Development Kit, how we have deployed you from Azure Blockchain Development Kit from here. And in the demo also, we have seen how we can generate a blockchain logic apps for, you can just right click and you can generate any logic apps. And we can deploy the logic apps on Azure to, I think there is some, today some network issue, some this is there. Yeah, so how we can deploy the logic app on Azure to perform to trigger any actions. I think Southeast Asia region today there is some problem because I'm trying to deploy in evening also I was getting this kind of issue. Yeah. Anyone have any questions until here? I'm almost yeah done. There are some useful links actually if you want to know more about the blockchain. So there are some courses available on EDX. So you can just go on EDX platform. Let me show. Yeah, these are the courses to know the basics about the blockchain fundamentals, and this is also for more about the business users. But if you want to learn more about the coding part, there's a Blockchain Geeks platform. So it helps you can learn Solidity language or more about Ethereum platform. Yeah, on this. And Microsoft is also providing some blockchain Azure blockchain samples. So let me show. Yeah. So as a workbench, there are some samples for your means creating your prototype, for your authentication, for your REST APIs, and for integration your existing apps like IoT or Office 365. So yeah, those things you can refer here. So any questions?
Yes, Asif bhai,
Yeah.
thank you very much for your session. Uh, there are a few questions in message box, chat box.
Oh,
Can I
okay,
ask?
okay. Yeah. For the let's can we use our own AD Prem without creating AD on Azure? Yeah, you can create your AD on-prem, and then you can also. That's actually the good thing because if you are creating your own AD on-prem, but you are going to consume the APIs, and so identities you can configure on your means AD. You can map your identities from your on-prem AD to your means like whenever you are going to deploy the Azure Workbench, or because anyhow you have to deploy Azure Workbench. So while you deploy the Azure Workbench, so there is let me show quickly. There is also option for allow external users like for your SQL Server database. So because whenever you will open the firewall settings, so you have to allow the external users. Oh, sorry. Let me show my in this. Yeah, so whenever you're going for exposing, so you can allow your suppose any external parties are there, so you can add a permissions by using, you can grant whatever the permissions you want from here. So if you have any on-prem AD and you want to integrate with your, obviously you need to integrate with your, because whenever you're going to perform any transitions on the blockchain network, so you should have a certain roles and permissions. So those things you need to map with your existing on-prem AD. Because currently whenever you will perform a blockchain Azure Workbench, so it will only means provision a read profiles access. But if you are going to perform like a blockchain transactions for creating the contract or something, so those permissions you have to be allowed, and those permissions you need to miss whoever have provisioned the Azure Workbench, so they need to, for the API level, they need to add the permissions from here. Like I have added for my blockchain API, and by default there will be only read permissions available.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Uh, Asif bhai, I have a question.
And
Really.
yeah,
What about interoperability? I mean, how can I interoperable with other blockchain provider?
that's currently with the means APIs, because suppose, but still there are few limitations with that, because suppose you have any assets and any such transactions like in terms of cryptocurrency, and if it is a closed network, because most probably it will be a closed network for Azure, because all the parties which are involved in this will be registered with your AD, means either as a means on AD or as a external users. Okay, so in that scenario, means either you are going for Hyperledger or Corda or any other ledger, so you have to consume the APIs, because there are REST APIs by default, so you have to consume APIs. But Azure Blockchain as a service, as of now, they are not providing APIs, but surely that will be in future. They will provide the APIs as well for that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And how many ledgers can we create on the Azure Workbench? Uh, Actually, ledgers, because this is a single ledger network, but if you have to scale up your network, so you have to scale up means like you have to add the transaction node on your Azure Blockchain as a service, as I showed, because whenever you provision blockchain workbench, so there is Azure Blockchain as a service also there. Yeah, this one. So you have to add the transaction node, how many organizations you want to add. So that will be like a multi-party system. So you can add up multiple transaction nodes, and based on that they will get the access. So transaction nodes are nothing but like organizations. Yeah. And are the APIs inbuilt? Yes, it is currently inbuilt for Azure Workbench, but for Azure Blockchain as a Service, as of now, no. But yeah, in future might be that feature, because obviously whenever we are going to interact with any external parties, we need APIs. So yeah, because both are still in preview mode, so that's it. And what kind of authentication is being used? They are providing a couple of authentication, like they're by using OAuth or a bearer token and API key. So a couple of options. If you can see in Postman, actually, all the authentication they are providing is, I am using bearer token, but you can use OAuth also, because OAuth is widely used for that. Yeah. Any other questions if you have? Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Dr.
thanks, Bhai. Thanks a lot for providing the opportunity. Yeah. If you have any questions, because this is was more on Azure related, but apart from that, there are a couple of other things, like for AWS also they are providing a lot of good things. Yeah. So yeah, you can actually, I have if any of you are interested, so maybe you can for means how exactly, means you will push the data to your SQL Server database, your generate your Power BI reports. I have written the blogs and with the my means video tutorials also, so you can refer. This is my asifwakar.com is my actually my blog site.
Thank you.
So yeah, you can refer. Sorry for, I think it's a bit over time.
No, 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 it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And thanks for the
So
session. And it's a
thanks.
collaboration event with other community.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
So
in next day
yeah,
we
sure,
can.
sure, sure. You are also invited in our communities anytime for your session and something. So if you guys are interested in how exactly you will
Right.
provision Azure Workbench, because it's a quite long process, so you can just refer a blog I have written with the video tutorials. Yeah. And second is like logic apps, how you can perform actions. So yeah, that's also available. And how we'll push the data into SQL Server database, everything is there. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Asan
Thanks.
bhai. Yeah. Thanks everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks. Yeah. If
Thank you.
anything, just you can have any questions, you can just email to me, or yeah, you can reach me on Twitter. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a
Okay.
lot.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.
I love this.